So, guys, today I wanted to talk about how post relapse is very dangerous. Post relapse on no fap, porn, masturbation, whatever you want to call it, semen retention. Post relapse is very dangerous as a man, and I'm hoping this video will help motivate you to maybe not relapse or come up with reasons not to relapse or boost your confidence or just give you a bit of an insight. So, I was in school. I sat with a bunch of girls, we're at the same table, and I had relapsed a day or two previously. I remember I wasn't present. I was not comfortable. I wasn't giving off that masculine energy, that masculine vibe. I wasn't showing that, I'm a dominant alpha male. I wasn't showing that I was a dominant alpha male. I was just being unpresent. I was being feminine. And that's not attractive. That's not attractive as a person, not just as, a sexual thing. As a person, it's not very attractive if you're a guy to be feminine. So I kept like gulping. I was like, oh, I can't really make the I can't really make the noise, but you know what I mean. I was gulping. I kept swallowing, and it's very distracting. I kept doing it constantly. Now the best thing I could have done was get this and just, drink it. Simple as that. But I've learned from that. And I would always do that when I'm nervous. I would be swallowing. It was very weird. And I started making like weird sounds because all the saliva was going in and the gas that's making weird gurgly noises. It was really fucking weird. But I kept looping then. I kept feeling worse and worse, and the girls around me would be looking or trying to look away or scooch away. And that, it kills the atmosphere. It kills your confidence. So, what I'm trying to get at is you're not yourself post relapse. Once you've relapsed on porn or whatever, you're not your true self. You're not really portraying your potential, your masculine potential to other people, so they think less of you. Like, I remember when I used to relapse a lot and I used to chase girls. I remember one time I bought this girl a birthday present. It was her birthday coming up, and I didn't know any better at the time. She might have been attracted to me, but I couldn't read her level properly, and I didn't know the right things to do in that moment. And because I gave in to lust, I was very feminine then. So I bought her a birthday present. Her friend brought it in, and then I gave it to her, and it was really awkward in front of everyone. And I never dated her. I never made a proper move. That was supposed to be my move because I didn't understand women for starters, and because I relapsed because I was feminine. That wasn't very attractive of me, and I'm not going to be able to attract a feminine woman if I'm feminine myself. Common sense, opposites attract, masculine, feminine attract. So if you're feminine, then you're going to attract a masculine girl. If you're masculine, you're going to attract a feminine girl. And at that time, I was more feminine because I relapsed constantly. And that's the thing, you won't do well in sports. You won't perform well naturally. Your body's lacking essential nutrients and your brain's not functioning at its highest. And sports are a very masculine thing. If you do a sport, when you do that sport, if you're good at it or if you're passionate about it, that is your masculine energy talking. Even if you're a woman, that is your masculine energy talking. That's why you see high performing female athletes very much so in their masculine. So if you're in your feminine, you're not going to perform well in the sport naturally. So that is another key factor for me. I play rugby. That's another reason why I shouldn't relapse. I'm not going to perform as well. If I relapse the night before a game, I'm not going to have a good game. Same with any other thing I do. If I do training, that training session is already lost. I'm not going to get the gains from going to the gym that I would want to if I relapse. I'm still going to do it, but it's not going to be as good of it's not going to be as good of a gym session, and I'm not going to reap the right benefits from it. So you don't perform as well. You don't get the outcome from sports as well as you would if you just didn't relapse. And you don't work as well. You're not going to get shit done. You're not going to be masculine. To be masculine, you get shit done. You get work done. You're not going to do that if you're feminine. You're going to come up with excuses. You're not going to be motivated. You're not going to get up early. You're going to sleep in. You're going to eat junk food, scroll on social media. You know the gist. You're not going to get the work done. Whereas if you don't relapse, well, you're going to get the work done. The reason I made this video is because of this point, really. It is because you say and do things post-relapse that you wouldn't normally do. You know, you think, oh, your friend quickly does like a freaks you out, and then you react, oh, what the fuck? Why did you do that? You start getting all annoyed and angry and aggressive for no reason, even though you didn't do anything wrong. You're just having a laugh, and maybe you make fun of someone, or you're just a dick to someone. Maybe your girlfriend. Maybe all she wants is just a bit of attention, a bit of love from you, but instead you know, put her down and then start an argument with her. You wouldn't normally do that. You think to yourself after, why the fuck did I do that? That's what happens when you let that weakness seep in from a relapse. You don't do things that you would normally do. And this is dangerous because it can affect your life heavily. You can make decisions that you wouldn't normally do. What I say is, if you've relapsed or you're on a low or a high, you should never make key decisions, whether that be in your business, relationships, whatever. You should never make decisions when you're on a high. Let's say you just made an investment, you made a massive return. You're not going to want to make another investment because the likelihood is you're going to buy something you wouldn't normally buy, thinking, oh, it looks good, it's going to make money, I'm going to be even more rich. You're working off of a high or a low. Maybe I'm just using investments as a good example. Maybe your stock has gone down, maybe it's gone under, or maybe it's just really coming close to going under, and you sell out. You think, shit, I've already lost so much money, I may as well just sell out now. Whereas if you're thinking logically, but you've lost a bit of money on it, but that's not the end of the world. It can still go back up, and you stay in it, and the stock goes back up, and you make a lot of money. That's what happens. You think clearly. Maybe a big business decision. Maybe your business just made a lot of money. Oh, we're gonna give people raises, this, that, and the other, and the next day you're hit with, uh, maybe you're being sued for defamation or something like that. Now you gotta pay for lawyers and this and that, and now you don't have the money to do that. You probably have to take out a loan, and it really sets you back. So when you're post relapse, you should never make important decisions, or really decisions in general, because you're not going to make the right decision. You overthink things. You get more anxious. I notice with people around me, they get very anxious over little things, and I just sit back, relax, and say, okay, so I've had a lot of, like, public speaking, for example. We had to do speeches and presentations and all this stuff, and people went up to me and said, "Oh no, we're gonna do this. Oh, I'm so anxious. I'm so scared." It's a wrong way to look at it, and the likelihood is they relapsed yesterday or the day before or a few days ago, and they're not thinking clearly. They're being anxious for no reason. I said to them, "Look, it's not a big deal. Public speaking, all that stuff. It happens. You have to do it eventually in your life at some point. Whether that be in school, or maybe you do that as your job. Maybe you're a leader among men. Maybe you're a leader of a firm. You're going to have to make a speech. You're going to have to talk publicly. It's going to happen. So instead of freaking out about it, just get on with it. You don't need to be anxious, because I find if you're anxious, then it's not going to go well. And then you're going to be more anxious the next time. So just be calm. If you don't relapse, you're going to be more calm, less anxious, and you're going to be able to do that speech, for example, no problem. Another point that's quite important, I think, is you get stuck in the consumer market. You get stuck as a consumer. I learned about this maybe a year ago, and you kind of forget about it once you're no longer a consumer, but a lot of the people around you are still consumers. They still play video games, they still watch TV, they still eat junk food, they still watch porn, they still, are addicted to bad things. They have bad habits they do. They scroll on social media, they buy things they shouldn't buy for no reason. That is a consumer. That is what the world wants you to be. And if you relapse, you're a consumer likely. You're likely going to do things that a consumer would do, because you're being consumed by these big industries, by porn or TikTok or Instagram. That is a consumer. You're a consumer. That's a consumerist thing to do. So, post relapse, you're going to probably consume content and buy things you shouldn't buy and look at things you shouldn't look at and scroll on things you shouldn't scroll on. That is a consumer. That is a consumer life. So you are a part of the consumer market. So that's another point. If you want to live your life, in the palm of the government and the big industry's hands, then by all means, relapse. But if you don't want to be that, you want to be your own person, you want to make a lot of money or be successful, you can be a consumer. That is another point. Post relapse, you're going to be a consumer. Another point is you're going to struggle to attract women post relapse. And as I said at the beginning, you're going to be not present. You're not going to be really able to be your most masculine, high testosterone self that will be able to attract women. You're not going to be able to show your true personality, we'll say. That isn't going to show. So women are naturally going to be repelled by you. So you're just going to get on with your life and not really worry about that until you've recovered and you're not going to relapse again. Another thing is you feel down post relapse, and that's what happens is with every addiction, your dopamine spikes up above where it should be. This is your baseline. This is what happens if you're smoking or drinking alcohol or watching porn. That's what happens. And what happens is you go below baseline after you're finished it. You're going to feel sorry for yourself or down about what you did or angry at yourself or others. It's a horrible way to live. That's not a very attractive human quality, to be negative, to be down. So post relapse, you're not going to be a very attractive, again, not in the sexual sense, but as in the human sense. Nobody's going to like you because you're always down. You're feeling down about yourself. You're negative. That's what happens post relapse. I'm trying to drill this in as much as I can, because I want to motivate you guys not to relapse, because there's a lot of people that come up to me and say they still relapse or this and that, and I'm like, it's not that hard when you just really dig in, really actually attack the world. You won't back yourself to cross the line. And what do I mean cross the line? Well, let's say you have a project. Maybe it's school, maybe it's a business project. I have both going on at the moment. If you're relapsing all the time, you're giving in to lust, you're not going to be thinking productively. You're not going to believe in yourself. You're not going to have that self-belief. You're not going to back yourself to cross the line, maybe cross a deadline for a test, you're not going to be able to do it well and efficiently. Or a project, you might not complete a project. It might take you a year. Let's say you got a business project. It might take you a whole year just to finish that business project. Even though if you just didn't relapse, it would take you a month. Or you may never finish it. You won't back yourself to finish it. Maybe you'll change. Maybe you won't back yourself to even start the project or to do something. Maybe I don't know, you're not going to back yourself to cross the line with ladies. Maybe you're not going to back yourself to go up to the woman and talk to her, chat her up. You won't back yourself. You're not going to have that self-belief, self-confidence in yourself, in your ability. And if you don't have that, you're not a man. You're going to have belief in yourself and in what you do, no matter what anyone else says. I have belief in myself to get shit done. So if you're post-relapse, you're not going to have that level of confidence. So, what's my advice? Well, don't relapse. It's as simple as that. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe. Quite a long video, but I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you later.